Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Thursday, June 25th, 2015. And here are some of today's trends in the news. I'm back in town. Was over there in Italy at the Milano 2015 Expo. I'll tell you more about that in a report. But if you're planning on going, well, I'll tell you more later. But the markets, not looking so good over there in China. Shanghai tanks 3.4%, turned sharply lower in the afternoon session to end down over 3%, a reminder that last week's 3.13% correction may not be over just yet. Okay, I'm not real good at math, but this is like almost what? 13 and 13, almost 17% down in a week. Could you imagine if the markets tanked 17%? So, earlier in the session, the Shanghai index steadied at modest gains following news that authorities scrapped the 75% loan-to-deposit limit, which could mean more credit flows into the economy. Property heavyweights were among the hardest hit in Shanghai. That's right. It's not looking so good over there. Cargo volume drops in China, 11% year to year. In the first 5 months, total railway cargo dropped nearly 10%. China announces plans, so here's how they do, to boost the Belt and Road trade by creating economic corridors and investing nearly $900 billion in countries along the route. Vice President Zhang Guolai said the country is mulling 6 economic corridors with countries along the Belt and Road trade route to better connect Asia and Europe with funding from the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank and the Silk Road Fund. So there you got it. Meanwhile, China's Development Bank, one of the country's policy banks, said it will invest $890 billion into more than 900 projects involving 60 countries as part of its efforts to bolster the initiative, the 21st Century Business Herald reported on Thursday. The newspaper cited bank's vice president saying that over $10 billion had been poured into projects already. So that's what they're doing with the slowdown. They're juicing it. But it's a different kind of juice. It's OP. That's right. But at least they're building the infrastructure and doing business rather than the quantitative easing and record low interest rates that only enrich the already rich in the good old U.S. of A. Premier Li closes $100 billion of deals during 6 visits to Europe. During Premier Li's visit, China reached a joint agreement with Hungary and Serbia to build a railway between Belgrade and Budapest earlier, and they just keep working the countries, doing business while the United States sells more armaments and more guns and military madness to the craziest people on the planet. That's the business of America. Cash goes out the door in developing markets. Asia has been particularly vulnerable, with $8 billion pulled out of the region's equity markets, the most in almost 15 years. So there you got it. The money's flowing out, flowing out, flowing out. Global investors yanked $9.3 billion from stocks in developing countries in the week ending yesterday. In 1 week. And the U.S. economy shrank less in first quarter than initially thought. It was down only 0.2% rather than 0.7%. And of course, they're looking for a rebound. And yes, there may be, but any rebound's not going to be much of a bound at all. And also over there in China, they're not buying luxury goods. Luxury sales within China fell by 11% in 2014. So, it's a slowdown. Now, imagine, because I get letters saying that I should be more polite and say things more gentlemanly. Hey, how do you like this one? Do you know what Obama coffee is? Black and weak. Yeah. Can you imagine if I said that? Hey, could you imagine if anybody said that? Other than our great allies, our great friends, we will turn the other cheek. It came from Judy Moses, an Israeli media personality and wife of Israeli Vice Prime Minister, Sylvan Shalom. Ah, yes, it's okay. She apologized. So, it's perfectly appropriate for the apartheid state. It fits them perfectly. Yes, look what they do to the Arabs. Don't let them on the buses, do they? No. It's the apartheid state, so it's perfectly appropriate. No one should get excited about this because it made the news and floated right back out. And today, I was on Russia Today, speaking about ISIS and them getting in the gold business. And I have to be more careful because after all, our betrayer-in-chief, Obama, black and weak, she said, not I. Could you imagine if I said that? Could you imagine? I said America was not going to win in Afghanistan, and I got blackballed. This is the Zizzy and Honey Boy movie. I said what would happen in Iraq, and hey, you're either with us or with the terrorists, that lowlife Mr. Bush said. But hey, black and weak is okay. Yeah, Obama coffee. Anyway, Obama criticizes Russian state media. Oh, that's right. They won't have me on. The little boys don't like me anymore. Anderson Cooper. I used to be on with O'Reilly. I was on with all of them. Oprah. And this guy has the nerve. Let's get this straight, Obama. 6 companies, could you count that high? Oh, 90% of all the media here. At least Russia had me on, saying what I want to say. The state-run media in Russia is allowing President Vladimir Putin to get away with actions that aren't in his country's best interest. President Barack Obama says in an interview on Vice, the Russian economy is taking a hammer blow because of their incursions into Ukraine. How's that for propaganda, huh? Hey, how about the United States incursion into Ukraine? No, we won't talk about that because we're the American media. We're the prostitutes. We love Obama and those red carpets. Yeah, I salute. Anyway, he goes on. But because ordinary Russians aren't getting good information, there's no check on what Putin may do. We're raising the costs of what he's doing in Ukraine to incredibly high levels, where rationally they would do something different, the president continued. But he's not necessarily operating based on those cost-benefit analyses because right now he's still popular. Yeah. The multiplicity of voices in United States media prevents American presidents from getting away with overstepping their bounds. Obviously, if this was a state-run media in the United States, whoever the president was would have the ability to make whatever screwy policies they had look good as well, Obama said. Screwy policies? Hey, how about Libya? How about the Afghan troop surge? Oh, I know, Obama, you forgot that one, huh? Yeah, the 30,000 that you sent. Hey, you closed Guantanamo. The media? It is, boy. It's run by the White House. A bunch of low-life prostitutes, and they put this garbage out. Hey, you want to hear some little liberal stuff that they don't talk about? Let's go back to last June 13th. Headline, Wall Street Journal. Democrats stymie Obama on trade. Ooh, big headline. You know what that is?
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
That was it. Because on Thursday, June 25th, trade bill wins final approval in Senate. Yay! All a show. A disgusting show. And you know what the con-mander said? Right here, little boys and girls. President Obama said today, he applauds Congress for passing a package of trade bills vital to his second-term agenda, saying he will sign them as soon as they reach his desk. Quote, this week's vote represent a much-needed win. You ready? You ready for this one? For hard-working American families. Yeah, work hard flipping them burgers, that's right. Yeah, work hard at Walmart. Yeah, pack them bags, get those people moving. Because you have no manufacturing jobs. Hard-working American folks, you just got folked by Obama. Hey, where's Hillary? Where's Hillary? Oh, you know what Hillary's doing? Good thing they got rid of that Confederate flag, and there she is in Ferguson. Big story, a load of coverage in the toilet paper. Nobody calls her out on the trade agreement. Nothing. Nothing, nothing. It's no accident that Miss Clinton chose a town near Ferguson to hold a campaign event. Only one of a handful of public appearances on her schedule in the coming weeks. And they give her all the media. Obama goes on. I applaud the Democrats and Republicans in Congress because you applaud low-life people who sell us out. Of course you do. Applaud the freaks. It's a freak show. Everybody applauds at the circus. Who came together to give the United States the chance to negotiate strong, high-standard agreements for free trade that protect American workers and give our businesses the opportunity to compete. I've spent the last 6.5 years fighting to grow our economy and strengthen our middle class. And that remains my top priority today, and he gets away with it. Oh, you spent the last 6.5 fighting? Yeah? What were you fighting? You lost fighting. Nah, go to war, I say, because here's what you're fighting. Saudi airstrikes killed nearly 100 in Yemen. Yeah, over 3,000 dead now. Saudi bombings in Yemen is seen only as fanning the flames, New York Times. Hey, but the United States is supporting this. That's right. For nearly 3 months, Saudi Arabia, along with its U.S. allies, has been bombing Yemen. Wow. So, China's doing business. America's doing war. And we're represented by nobody. The companies Obama's talking about that will benefit from this Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement are the multinationals that will now take over the sovereign rights of we the people. But what's the big deal? They've already robbed us of our constitutional rights. And the news is the Supreme Court says Obamacare is okay. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.